It's time once again for Uncle Matt's bedtime story.
Hello, everybody. It's a big day here at Uncle Matt's bedtime story. And today we're going to read you a story that you may have read before. I don't think I have. It's a Dr. Seuss story. It's called The Lorax. And I thought I'd read it on this day because tomorrow will be episode 1000. And I thought this story for episode 999 would be appropriate because in the early days of Uncle Matt, like episode 1, 2, we read some Dr. Seuss stories, as well as some others like Berenstain Bears and that kind of thing. But I thought we'd kind of go back to our roots and read this Dr. Seuss story before we crest into episode 1000 tomorrow. So, without further ado, episode 999, this is The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. And this story was copyright, just going to take a look here. In 1971, it was renewed in 1999. Here we go. The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives here. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkim on top of his stove. He lurks in his lurkim, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of the rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snoove, his secret strange hole in his grooveless glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper my phone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. Slup, down slups the whisper ma phone to your ear, and the old Onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through the snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, not such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the swomy swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula's trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate trufula fruits. Oh, I missed the page. From the rippleless pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish, humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as those. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. Went shopping earlier, it looks like. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop, and with great skillful skill, and with a great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft, and I knitted the need. The instant I'd finish, I'd say, gazump. I looked, I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was scortish or shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a move that was sharpest and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongue, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? Little tongue twister there. Look, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thaneed. A thaneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for windows, for shelters, for sheets, for curtains or covers, for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who could buy that fool Thneed. By the very first minute, I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a clap came along, and he thought that the Thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor, stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, listen here. Here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Niche, then left at Weehakon. Sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of the truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow, so I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one snacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. Where's that Lorax? Where did that person go? By the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please, but I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shadow in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go around, and my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies." They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. "Good luck, boys," he cried, and he sent them on their way. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of the crummies in tummies, you know. I meant no harm. I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my family, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads of the thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping from the south to the east, to the west, to the north. I went straight on biggering, selling more thneeds, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then, again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes when the old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. "I am the Lorax," he coughed and he whittled. He sneezed and he snuffled. He snargled. He sniffed. "Onceler," he cried from a crufulous croak. "Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. No poor swomy swans, why, they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat." "And so," said the Lorax, "please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here." "What's more," snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, "let me say a few words about gluppity-glup. Your machine chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity-glup after and also shaloppy-pitty-shalop, and what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you." It's a pretty big scene here in this picture. "You're clumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed, so I'm sending them off Off their future is dreary, they'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax. Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap yap and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring and biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, tuning more truffle trees into the needs where everyone needs. At that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffle tree of them all. No more trees. No more needs, no more work to be done, so in no time my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away to the investigation and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now, all that it was left neath the building or the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I... So the Lorax did hang out there. The Lorax said nothing. Just give me a glance. Just give me a very sad, backward glance. So he lifted himself up by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place, though through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless, whatever that meant, well, I couldn't guess. That was a long time ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried and worried and worried. Though the years while my buildings have fallen apart, I'm worried about it with all of my heart. But now, said the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear, unless someone like you cares about a whole lot. Let's try that again. Boy. But now, said the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear, unless, there's an unless here, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot more, is going to get better. It's not. So, catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffle seed. Is that the last one of all? You're in charge of the last of the truffle seeds, and truffle trees are without everyone's needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean wood and send it fresh air, grow a forest, protect it from their axes that hack, then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. That is the end. Not sure what to make of that story. That is all the time we have for Uncle Matt's Bedtime Story, episode 999. And tomorrow will be a big day. It will be us reading our 1000th episode. All right. Bye for now.